got your nine, got your nine. Showing no love. Watch the whole industry imitate.
Hello, this is going to be a bit of a different type of thing I'm doing. I'm just kinda gonna talk about Decoy Deploy, the frenzy that we just had. I usually don't do these kinds of videos where I just like have like a list of stuff. I usually have a script that I read from because that's how I usually do stuff, but today we're gonna do a bit of things a little different. We're gonna be, you know, going over things I just like about the frenzy, what I don't like about the frenzy, which there is a lot to talk about there, and overall, can we make like frenzies better and whatnot. I would also like to say before doing this, do not harass developers. Do not harass anyone in general. I think harassing people over the frenzy is stupid and just very childish, and overall it's just really stupid. I'm gonna repeat a lot because this is an unscripted video. Anyways, today we're just gonna be talking about frenzy now. So yeah, don't harass people. This is all my opinion. If you disagree, that's fine. I would like to know your opinions down in like the comments maybe or whatever. So yeah, let's get into this. So I want to talk about the positives first. There's not a lot of positives about this frenzy, but we gotta give credit where it's due because that's how it is. I think every single thing I don't think is good, that has something good about it. This applies to many forms of media, including the frenzy. So I want to talk about the one thing that I feel like a lot of people loved, and those were the score thresholds. For those who don't know, the frenzies kind of work as like you get a score, and you gotta get a really high score to get good prizes. You know, there's percentages, there's percentage thresholds for people. And in Mix Up Madness, I didn't play Mix Up Madness a lot because I was busy. But if I remember correctly, Mix Up Madness was like everyone was grinding it a lot and no one knew what percentage they were in. They just kept on grinding unless you looked at the leaderboard. I think there was a leaderboard back then, I'm not sure though. But you basically kept on grinding and you just had no idea where you were. You don't know if you were in the 5%, 1% or whatever. So what I liked about this frenzy, however, is that around a day or two after the frenzy was released, Aiden posted score thresholds, which were basically scores you needed to get the rewards. So like to get 1%, you needed like 760. To get 25%, you needed like 510. There's were these score thresholds that showed a mark you needed to make. So you don't have to keep on grinding, but rather you just needed to meet a score threshold. And that's what I liked about it. You don't need to keep on grinding and worry that you might not be in that 1% like percentage. You now knew if you got the rewards, and that was awesome. That was an amazing thing. Did it make things less exciting? I mean, yeah, but like I'd rather know what I'm doing than be clueless if I'm gonna get the rewards or not. It's like this constant paranoia. I mean, well, it won't be like paranoia, but it really just is that. So I think score thresholds were an amazing idea. I think they should go and do that even more for like a next frenzy when they do. It was an amazing thing they did. And it really helped solidify if we were getting the rewards or not. That was amazing. There are a few more positives I'd like to say, however, but I kind of feel like these aren't really connected to the frenzy. Rather, more connected to just what they did. I mean, we'll go over the ending stuff later, like what happened after the frenzy, but I loved that they put exclusive skins back on sale. Mainly the ones Stargazer Rocket, Vine Splash? I don't know if it was called Vine Splash, I'm pretty sure. And my beloved Jester Space. Oh my gosh, I am so happy Jester Space is back. Amazing skin. But yeah, they put them back on sale for the frenzy, limited time for 65k bucks each. So, you know, slightly more expensive, but if you have the bucks, you could buy it now. And this was a great thing they did because I did not want to wait like a whole million years for a shop to be implemented just so I could finally get those skins. It's great that they're now accessible in this regard. So it's great. That's great. That is a great change. I don't know if that's necessarily a positive for the frenzy, but it's just an amazing change I would like to address, obviously. And I guess the last positive I would probably say is like the idea they were trying for on paper was good, because they were trying to make a frenzy that wasn't too grind heavy like Mix Up Madness. I think that was quite literally one of the things they put for that frenzy. Yeah, one of the points was literally just like no need for grind like Mix Up Madness or something like that. It wouldn't really flesh out in that way, but they tried. But yeah, now I think that's a great segue into these negatives, because there's a lot to talk about. So let's talk about just like the frenzy in general. I'm not going to go over like all the scoring intricacies of how things are scored, but I will say like some things of like fighters and getting points with them. Let's just talk about the RNG in this. This entire frenzy was pure RNG. So you have lots of random elements in these servers. You get players that you don't know, they're random players, random teams, random fighters, random maps, and depending on the map, it could be a random game mode between Conquer and Annihilate, which most fighters want Annihilate to maximize points, and it's absolute RNG hell. It's great. I do want to say, however, I liked how this frenzy kind of made us play fighters I would never play as, because you would never catch me playing as like Boombox or Scythe or Banhammer at all. But hey, that's cool, I'll just add that in. But man, some of these matchups with the fighters are awful in this mode. Some ones I don't think are as bad. Sword, Rocket, and Slingshot aren't that bad. I would also put Shuriken there, but that's more or less biased because I played Shuriken for about 3 weeks now. So it doesn't really count, but I enjoyed Shuriken, so I'll take it. There are also a lot of bad ones. Skate matches felt like finisher hell and trick hell. Hyper lasers was usually boring as hell because people would just sneak in pot shots and hide behind cover half the time, especially on Annihilate. Oh my god, it was bad on Annihilate for me. I've never had much hyper laser matches at all, but the ones I had, pretty bad, I would say. And then there's ones like supports. Supports damages were buffed by ×2 in the frenzy only, and some of these were absolute hell. Medkit could barely heal himself, so you basically just had to hit 24 damage headshots half the time with his incredibly awkward gun. Oh my god, this man's gun sucks so bad. It's even worse with the fire rate nerf. God. I think Boombox was absolute garbage to play. It was just knockback hell. He did too much damage. It was a complete and utter mess with Boombox. Vinestaff just was like a stalwart. Everyone kept on healing up until someone eased you and you take like 80 damage. This is great. That's great. 80 damage. Hell yeah. But yeah, you would barely die in this mode. It was basically like one of the hardest ways to get points with that fighter. And then there's also Katana and Banhammer. I don't even need to say anything for them. If you were there, you knew how bad this was. Everyone would just dogpile on each other, spam moves and finishers, and just kill the entire team half the time. More so with Banhammer because that E and M2, along with the finisher, could just get you owned in like 10 seconds. Like, there would be Banhammer Annihilate matches where no team would want to even, like, be aggressive. They would wait for the other team to approach. That's how bad it was, because people did not want to get annihilated. Once they lose one Banhammer and they're in a fight, they're done for. They're going to get finished or eaten to death, and then boom, pwned. There's like 9 pwns every match. It was funny for like the first few matches, but at some point it just got tiring and it just became like a slog of doing the same moves. And that's why Banhammer and Katana were some of the best fighters to get points with, because it was easy to get kills with them. It was easy to play them, and they were just easy in general. That's really it. They were easy. They give a lot of points. I'm pretty sure a lot of players had a Katana and or Banhammer and their top 3 scored fighters, but they were still incredibly unfun and uninteresting. At best, you would get a fighter you main and it becomes kind of fun, but it's just that doesn't really excuse it. Like, I like Shuriken, but that's not really because the frenzy, it's because I like playing Shuriken. Yeah, it was terrible. Oh yeah, and the grinding message about Mix-Up Madness, yeah, no, you would have to grind because of RNG. There would be many times where you get no change in score because you would just not get a high enough score with a fighter. Like, I would constantly get 190s and 200s, and that would not make the damn leaderboard because that fighter is either already on the leaderboard with a higher score, or the score just sucked. And it was so bad because I really felt like I was not progressing. It felt like I was just doing matches just to force myself. And now you might say, oh, well, you probably burned yourself out. Maybe. I'm not gonna just say no, I'm gonna say maybe. But it just felt like a chore playing this because you had to get so lucky with so many factors out of your control to get a good score. And because of this RNG and absolute hell of getting lucky with maps, fighters, all this stuff. Oh, and yeah, I should also mention, 12 of the 14 fighters were just really bad at getting points unless you're actually good at the fighters, like I said. Katana and Banhammer, the mains of those didn't really get an advantage because those character matchups were absolute hell on Decoy Deploy. I keep on getting the name mixed up. Like, cause like, I actually did not mention, Decoy Deploy is a 5v5 of the same character. But Katana and Banhammer mains did not benefit at all because you would just do the same stuff every single match, every single game. And if it was Annihilate and you got a good Annihilate map, you could probably get a high score because you just do the same stuff. But then you need a good team so you don't get pwned and actually get an increase. So yeah, lots of luck hell. There's no need for grind like Mix-Up Madness. It just kind of becomes true and false because you don't grind as much. But you can also grind that much because your hands are you're just in the hands of RNG. And RNG sucks. Nobody wants to rely on RNG. It's an utter mess. The entire Frenzy was just an utter mess for many people because a lot of the lower level players were struggling out of the 500s and especially struggling at the 600s. While I feel like middle ground players like me were struggling at 700s because to get 1% threshold, you need a 760. Thank God it was 760. I was struggling. I just had to get the luckiest mecha game of my life, and then I got on. It was horrible. But yeah, I've seen many pro players spend like a total of over like 30 hours and not even getting to 1% because they kept on getting either bad teams, bad maps, bad fighters, etc, etc. It is just a complete, utter RNG fest of just trying to get points. It might sound like I'm repeating, but I gotta really hammer in how awful the execution was, because instead of no life grinding, you just gamble. Isn't that awesome? I know, it's great. It's so awesome game design. But yeah, that RNG factor also then kind of like adds more byproducts of terrible stuff, because you would also get tryhards, which made points, like getting points, way more difficult. You would have to like server hop and hope you run to a server that doesn't have good players just to maximize your points, which kind of sounds scummy, but like at the same time, how the hell am I supposed to get points efficiently for a mode I don't even enjoy in the first place? And then there's also point farmers. Point farmers felt like they were not fun, because they would convince the server to like, you know, truce, and they would kind of like point farm each other with lots of kills and stuff to get a lot of points. And I think the people that got caught doing this got their points reset, which was fine. But like at the same time, I kind of understand why they did it, because this frenzy was an absolute disaster, low-key. I can see why they did it, and I know why they did it. They deserve to get their points reset, obviously, but I could see why people did that. But you still just shouldn't do it. And also, the absolute hellhole this frenzy was on release, because somehow when fighting releases something happens. Like, sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's like this cool bug, but this was just not fun. Like at the time, you had no idea what scored points. You don't know how much a kill scored, an assist scored, being on the point scored. Like, And people had no idea what their points were unless they made the top 3. So it's like, how the hell do I improve on this? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And there was also the time where like the scoring didn't work, so people kept on getting lots more points because they just kept on playing the fighter that they had on the leaderboard, so they just kept on getting points and points and points. And then after 3 hours or so, they reset all the scores, and people were mad because they played for so long just grinding points up to this point. And it was it was a train wreck on that day. I'm glad I did not play much fighting on that day because I have a job. Oh man, the great stuff of having a job. I love life. But yeah, point farmers were everywhere. Frenzy was bugged and felt unfinished on release. I think after a day they pushed a patch where you can see what gained you points, how much you gained, how much points you gained with a certain fighter, if it made the leaderboard, your leaderboard or not. And it was just a complete and utter disaster on release, but I'm glad they fixed all of it. Was the mode fun? No, it really wasn't fun. It felt like people were just gunning for the rewards because these were like high value rewards. Like you don't see a title that gives you a kill effect. That is some new stuff. People want that. People were tryhard. They were sweats on that. But I'm not a sweat or a tryhard or a scrim player. I am a middle ground player, middle of the road, middle skill level, the most average middle level player of all time. So I had to server hop and all that. I had to get good servers. I just had to get really lucky with everything. Yeah. I should also talk about the rewards as well. So they also added a kill effect for the 25% reward. Because 50% and 25% were titles. But they added like a kill effect for the 25% title. It was a broker coin kill effect. It was cool. It was aight. And 5% skin was a sword skin. And I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's a bad skin. But compared to the other skins, it definitely just felt off. Like maybe it was just like how his face paired with the armor or just the armor in general, but something about it was not that good. I don't think it was bad. I think it was actually okay. But I could definitely understand the comments people saying it looked ugly or off. And then there was something about the 1% reward that people hated. For those who don't know, the 1% reward was a title called Daybreaker. I actually have it. Little useless flex there. And it had a unique title effect, a unique kill effect. And, you know, people were like celebrating with this. They felt like Aphelion players. Oh god, Aphelion players. But I don't know if I could really prove the validity of this claim, but Aiden decided at the last second to put the title up for sale for 25k frenzy points. You could get the skin for 10k frenzy points if you didn't make the 5%. But now he put the title up for 25k frenzy points if you missed the 1% threshold. Which I think was genuinely good. I think that's a good change. Because I know a lot of people who grinded like crazy, have a lot of frenzy points saved up, like 29k, and couldn't get it. But now they can, because they grinded hard. And they put in all this work to try and get on the 1%, and they didn't. But now all their work that they done kind of paid off. And apparently people were harassing Aiden over this, and like being angry and stuff. Which, knowing the Fine community, that's probably what happened, because the Fine community makes no goddamn sense. All of you, the community sucks. Well, it doesn't suck, but it's like, you got a lot of loud, bad people that complain. But that's about the Fine community. That's a whole different video idea. But, yeah, apparently people complain, and Aiden was not happy with it, because people just kept on complaining and stuff. But I thought it was a fine change to do that. I just wanted to talk about that, like, in the ending portion. I should have clarified this was the ending portion, but yeah, it was a bit of a messy ending, but now it's calmed down. The skin was optimized, I think. It got a few changes. I'm not sure. I think they were in awesome patches. I'm not really sure, though. But I feel like this is a great segue to now talk about how can we fix this? Like, is there ways that we can make a frenzy more fun, more engaging, more playable? And I have a few suggestions I talked about with some people. Well, you can make it more uncompetitive because the rewards attached were amazing. Like, these were rewards people would try hard and sweat for, and it made the whole experience feel mind-numbing and horrible because people just kind of had no soul, just grinding and doing like the best they can just for a reward. And it kind of made this for fun game mode become more of a chore for people. I've seen people unironically suggest like a free battle pass, which isn't bad. I mean, you just play the game more, but there's an incentive, and you know, you don't gotta make it so grindy that's like you gotta no life it. But hey, it's like you could do it easily for like a normal for fun player, and I think that's cool. Some people also added like, some people added they can make like a shop with the frenzy points. Like, you know, you gain frenzy points from the frenzy, and you can kind of shop stuff with the frenzy points. It kind of makes it grindy, but like maybe you can make something work with that. I'm not sure. Maybe make the prices not too expensive. I don't know. But like, they should also just make the frenzy like not like fun in the first place. I've seen people suggest an idea about making it a more fleshed out version of Boomball. And I don't think Boomball is great, but they could like optimize the physics a bit, add new maps, maybe add power-ups on the map. So it's fun, and people could like it, but it also, there's an incentive to play it. There's new stuff. There's all this cool, wacky stuff. And Boomball itself is an absolute cluster hell, but you could optimize it and make it more fun and add new maps, which was a cool idea, I will say. I'm not saying it's the be-all, end-all idea. These are all just suggestions, by the way. I'm not saying these should all be ideas, but they're more just suggestions. I've seen people also go back to the Mix of Madness formula, but carry over point thresholds. So, like, it's grindy, but you don't gotta grind a lot for them. But you would also know when to not grind, so you'd be, like, eligible for the rewards. So it's like more for fun players can still get the rewards, but like you still just kind of like gotta grind for it. But like the grinding is not too high, so you don't gotta like no life it, but you still gotta grind for it. But you just don't gotta be like a no life grinder, which I think is a pretty good solution. Cause I would rather take a grindy thing that isn't too grindy with a set objective than something with a set objective that mainly just falls in the hands of RNG. Cause you need a good team, good fighter, good players. Well, you gotta be against bad players. You gotta get mostly annihilate. Because if you got Conquer, you wouldn't get enough points because the kills and assists that you get from the kills and assists you could get are lower in Conquer. And you would just be suffering and going through a match of the Conquer, and when you're just like, great, I didn't get annihilate. Time to just go through 5 minutes of this bullshit. Woohoo! Well, I think that's the first time I said that word. Well, but yeah, it just made the grinding become monotonous. I feel like a match just wasn't worth playing through because it's just 4 minutes of wasting your time before you have another shot at getting a good game. And I guess that's kind of all the suggestions I could kind of give. I'm not sure if they were clear or anything, but I'm just kind of rambling on this video. So what even is clear? And I feel like I could just end this video off with like a final statement. Was this frenzy good? No. I don't like this frenzy. Was it a good idea? Yeah. I would say it's a good idea for sure. Cause, you know, I feel like frenzy should be for fun. But I feel like with the rewards they put on the line being so exclusive and wanted, it makes people play the frenzy like a competitive mode. And that makes a mode that is RNG based, which should be more fun than tryharding, become monotonous, boring, and unbalanced as hell, instead of a mode where people can just say it's fun. Because I feel like Boomball in festivals, they weren't like major things that mattered to the score. They were just for fun, like intermissions that, while people hated them a lot, I personally didn't. I didn't really see the problem. I thought they were chaotically fun, despite how redundant it could be for like the 5th time. But yeah, it didn't really feel like a boomball thing. It just felt like I was playing this mode just for the rewards instead of playing it because I thought it was fun. Because this mode was not fun. There was many unbalanced matchups that sucked. It mainly felt like I was enjoying it because I was good at a certain fighter or fighting bad players or had like the right map I needed. It didn't feel like a satisfactory thing. It just felt like I was doing it just because I want to get it over with. And a lot of people got way worse luck than me and way worse points than me, and I don't even want to know what they got through because, God, I pray for them. Were the rewards cool? Yeah, I'm not too big on the sword skin, but I do think people complaining over the Daybreaker tile stuff was childish and petty and really stupid. Like, making that big of a fuss over a title is just stupid. It's kind of like if Aiden put a Philion up for sale for like 50k bucks. It's just petty. It's stupid. You're making a big fuss out of nothing. Maybe I don't know how it went because I was asleep. I'm a normal human being. I was asleep at like 12 a.m. But it was just really stupid. And overall, do I think they can improve from here? Hell yes. You could definitely improve from here. And, you know, maybe make it a battle pass or like a shop or maybe go out to the mix-up madness formula, but make it less grindy and add those point thresholds back again. Because those point thresholds were really a game changer. So then you won't have people point farming, you won't have tryhards everywhere. It makes the frenzy more fun. More like what it should be. Fun. Like straight fun game mode. And I do respect the fighting devs for trying. They tried to do something unique, and it didn't work out, and it was messy, but they went with it, they tried it, it didn't work at all, but it was worth the try. I will say, I respect them for going through with the messy idea. The execution was sloppy, but they got through it. They said the frenzy was a bit of a shit show anyways, and they got through it. And you know what? I will respect them for that. I just think this frenzy was definitely mishandled, definitely badly executed, definitely really bad because of the competitive rewards and the competitive environment around it, and also all the luck elements you had to go through. I am emphasizing all the luck elements every single 40 seconds because it's genuinely that horrible basing a frenzy on it. I just want them to be less competitive because they're supposed to be fun. I don't want to be a sweat tryhard, like just thinking, like waiting for the right map and server hopping and stuff. I shouldn't be doing that. Or maybe the mode just wasn't fun in general, so when I was trying to get the rewards, I just really just wanted the rewards and get it over with. There are a few fun matches you could get with this mode, it's just the mode itself isn't fun. I've seen also some people say co-op frenzies. I'm not sure how that would work though. Yeah, I think I could just end the rambling here. Overall, I didn't like the frenzy. I thought they can improve from here. That's all I really need to say. Yeah, I guess that's all I can really end it on for this whole rambling section. I don't know if anyone else will be making videos about their thoughts on the frenzy. I think they could definitely improve from here. It wasn't good, but I know they can improve from here. I respect them for trying, especially, and I still love the game. I'm not saying I hate the game, I'm just saying I didn't like the frenzy. Well, didn't like is a bit too nice, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, I guess that's the end of this rambling session. If you enjoyed this or whatever, you could like the video, I guess. I don't usually do these at all. I usually just have a script and make videos on fighting. So, I guess that's the end of this whole rambling rant section about the frenzy. And if you guys enjoyed it, that's great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. If there was something you didn't like that I liked, or you liked that I didn't like, that's cool. I would like to know that. This is all just an opinion anyways. We all have differences. So yeah, thanks for listening to my rant and rambling about this frenzy. So, peace.